In today's News Channel 8 Your Neighborhood series, Cara Savoy is taking us through the heart of Powning's Addition, what used to be called Reno's Little Italy. You may know the neighborhood from the Moya Lear Theater, the McKinley Arts and Culture Center, and St. Thomas Aquinas Cathedral, all in that part of town. Cara joins us from Winter Street with more on the rich history and the true beauty of this neighborhood. Cara?
Well, Ted, like you said, this neighborhood does have a wealth of historic, architecturally significant buildings, but it also has a fabulous collection of beautifully restored craftsman-style homes. And step inside any one of them and you will be transported back in time about 100 years when the neighborhood first began. Tucked away in the shadows of the downtown high-rise casinos, Powning's Addition is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Reno. In 1888, a man named C.C. Pownings purchased the 27 acres that over the next few decades developed into a collection of single-family homes.
It took them a while to fill in the lots. That's why each one of these are very unique, have their own identity. They were built at different times by different contractors. Some of those were kit homes that were brought in. That's where you have your craftsmen. They were built from the turn of the century all the way up into the mid-1930s.
Back then, Powning's Addition was nicknamed Reno's Little Italy, because that's where the Italian immigrants settled after arriving in northern Nevada to work on the railroad.
These were wonderful people that had an opportunity to take advantage of their new home, and they really appreciated it, and they showed it in the way that they took care of themselves, their work ethic, and their properties.
All of the Italian places, I would say probably 90% of them, had a wine cellar. Yep. That there are even a couple of the houses you can go in now and you can still smell the remnants of the wine.
Many of those Italian Catholics would travel to the eastern edge of Powning's Addition to worship at St. Thomas Aquinas, a fixture in this part of town for the last 99 years. Father Jacob Carasso, who studied in Rome, says he occasionally speaks in Italian with the ancestors of the original tenants of Little Italy. But today, the demographic of the parishioners has changed. Italians are no longer the majority, outnumbered by Asians and Latinos.
Right now, we have at least 50% Hispanic from the different countries of Latin America, primarily Mexico.
He says the church has also learned to adapt to the changes in the neighborhood in order to stay relevant.
We see ourselves as a spiritual home in the midst of the business community of the city, of downtown.
Anchoring the neighborhood to the west is the McKinley Park School, built from 1909 to 1910.
It's one of what's called the Spanish Quartet. There were originally 4 mission-style one-story buildings that were constructed at around the same time. You had Orvis Ring, you had Mary S. Stoughton, you had Mount Rose Elementary, and you had McKinley Park School.
Now transformed into the Arts and Culture Center for the city of Reno, the McKinley School serves as a gathering spot for the locals. Powning's Addition is also home to other historical buildings, the Lear Theater and the 20th Century Building.
This was the dance floor, the area where they had dinners and they'd put tables out here and that sort of thing.
This building was built in 1925 for the first women's club in Reno, the 20th Century Club. Now it's been converted into office space. Owner John White says it's always easy to find tenants because of its optimum location on the river.
It's a good part of the town. You can see why it started here.
This gas and service station on the corner of First and Winter is one of the few reminders of the history of this neighborhood. Back then, 1914, gas only cost a couple pennies for the gallon. Another reminder of the neighborhood's Italian roots is the quality craftsmanship of the homes.
The homes in this neighborhood are just have a lot of character, and the architecture is really unique.
As is frequently done in this neighborhood, Steve and Cindy Ellison purchased this 1930s craftsman-style bungalow in Powning's Addition to use for their business, a photography studio.
There you go. You're just going to make a quick image here.
Our pride and joy is the fireplace. Some craftsmen back in 1930 really put that together, and just beautiful. They don't make fireplaces like that anymore.
In honor of the restoration work they've done on this house, the Ellisons received a Historic Preservation Award from the City of Reno this year.
Nevada is notoriously bad for tearing stuff down and building new stuff, so it's real important to make people aware of what is historical.
Now, one of the benefits of this neighborhood being considered mixed use, businesses next to homes, is that there are always a set of eyes watching the street. Neighbors say that's a very good way to keep the crime and keep any of the rough elements of living so close to downtown out of their quiet streets. Now, coming up on News Channel 8 at 6:30, we will look at some of the modernization that this neighborhood has gone through and some of those problems that do affect the quality of life living here in Pounding's Addition. Reporting live from Winter Street, Kara Suboy, News Channel 8.
Thanks, Cara. We'll have more from you in a few minutes.